were the papers.
Yes, you read. The microphone 가져와.
The first question is that as we know that you have been dialoguing with leading scientists in the world during the last few decades, they show keen interest in Buddhist spirituality. How do you see the outcome of these dialogues for both Buddhism in the East and the Western world in the future?
그래서 샤조 가서.
샤조
천리당 저 천리바당 돈에 남아 되기 마음바는 셔쇼당
샤조기 낭바당 누조기 체리바이 다 진짜 마음발라 좀 되지 그런 것도.
You mean Western scientist or just Western general? I see. Last, I think 30 years, we develop a serious discussion with modern scientists, mainly in 4 fields: cosmology, and then neurobiology, then physics, like quantum physics, then psychology, 4 fields. In the field of matter, particle, like atom or quarks or these sort of particle, and also the cosmology, Western science much advanced than Buddhist sort of cosmology, I feel. I think as a result of contact with Western scientists, they say, one casualty, now I am no longer believe Mount Meru. And world is round. World goes around sun, and moon goes around our planet. Not sun and moon used to go in the sky, not that way. Abhidhammakosha mentioned like that. Now, we found contradiction, direct contradiction from scientific finding. So as a Buddhist, must accept the reality. We should not rely blindly scripture. So I publicly told the monastic institution, the over 10,000 monk students, and also many scholars, I sort of also clearly mentioned, I no longer believe Mount Meru or the certain sort of picture of geography which mentioned in Abhidhammakosha Karika. So I have no longer believe. That nothing to do with Four Noble Truth. Buddha's teaching is Four Noble Truth. Buddha not came on this planet making measurement what size of India, what size of Thailand. No. Whether round or flat doesn't matter. So then other field, and of course in cosmology also, you see Big Bang theory. We Buddhists very easily sort of accept that. And then from Buddhist viewpoint, not only one Big Bang, the previous endless Big Bang must be there. Otherwise, why is one Big Bang happen? Why? There must be causes and conditions. So that create previous Big Bang. Like that. So that's very, very fit the Buddhist sort of cosmology. Endless world. World appear, disappear, appear, disappear, go like that. Then, Kasachuti, neurobiology. Lot of explanation in Buddhist sort of literature about sort of different mind, different emotion, and also the connection, brain or nervous system with these different emotions. And also in tantric teaching, because in the practice including some sort of meditation about these nerve centers, so some explanation about those nerve centers. So it is very, very helpful when we discuss with neuron science or specialist sort of scientist about brain. We also, you see, useful to learn from their sort of finding. And our explanation, our experience also is very helpful for them, like that. Then, subatomic physics, including quantum physics, the Buddhist concept, interdependency, patitsamupad. Everything, say, not exist by itself, but due to other factor, many factor. One event here due to many other factor. That Buddhist concept very, very fit in the modern scientific sort of thinking. And then subtle particles. Also, you see, there are some similarities. And then psychology. Western modern psychology compare Indian psychology. Western psychology is something like kindergarten. Traditional Indian sort of psychology, much advanced. So here, many scientists really showing eager to learn from Buddhist psychology or Indian psychology, ancient Indian psychology, general, particularly Buddhism. So that's our sort of kasota, main field contact with modern scientists. Originally, I think I want to share with Thai Buddhist. 40 years ago, when of course, since my childhood, I love science and technology. Then after I came India, eventually I sort of feel dialogue or the discussion with scientists. I really develop some eagerness. Then I express some American Buddhist, say, who follow Tibetan Buddhism. One occasion I express I want to discuss with scientists. I want to start some discussion with scientists. Then that American Buddhist told me, be careful. Science is killer of religion. Must be careful. Then I thought, one Sanskrit Buddhist sort of teaching mentioned, Buddha stated, "Oh, my follower, should not accept my teaching out of devotion, out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So therefore, I felt, this is no danger. As I mentioned, you see, I think, hopefully, I'm still Buddhist. But no longer believe about Mount Meru. There's no danger of Buddhism. So basic thing, as I mentioned earlier, Four Noble Truths, and also the pureness of our consciousness, and also possibility of elimination, these things. Now, these wise, realistic scientists, they simply showing interest. They never say, no, impossible. They never say. even you see next life, there's now more and more scientists among my friend. These scientists, top scientists, well-known scientists, very famous scientists, like Richard Davidson, very famous. So they now open. There's possibility of next life or continuation of mind. So they simply carry investigation like that. So therefore, I felt it's no danger. If it's a certain thing, 100% proof by scientific finding, then we Buddhists must accept that. Like non-existence of Mount Meru. No problem. So then I start discussion with scientists. Initially, my own out of my own curiosity. Then eventually it become institutionalized. Now in our big monastic institution, mainly in South India, now these people used to come, these scholars. You see, now we already introduce study or lesson of modern science in these big monastery institutions. Previously, we selected students about 40, 50. That goes few years. Now we actually prepared a text about the study of science in Tibetan. We already translated with help of Emory University in Atlanta of America. So full cooperation, translation. We already translated 5 years sort of program. So we eventually introduced science study in our monastic institution. So the other side, among the scientists also, now annually, you see, carry some sort of meeting or some courses, lesson about, you see, the certain sort of dialogue, Buddhist science and modern science. Here, I make sort of, I made, the
Division.
or the division within the Buddhist teaching. One category, Buddhist science, about psychology, about this concept of interdependency. So firstly, Buddhist science. Second category, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist view, impermanence, at a subtle level, momentarily changing. That's Buddhist view, Buddhist philosophy. And then Buddhist religion. So as far as Buddhist religion is concerned, for Buddhist, only for Buddhist. But Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist science is universal. Why I make these divisions? I feel generally, certain sort of idea from Buddhism, about Buddhism, certain philosophy, Buddhist philosophy. Then it becomes very narrow, only for Buddhist. So I want to make clear 3 things. Third thing is for Buddhist. But Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist science is like science or general philosophy. It's a universal academic subject. Academic subject. So now in America, some university now start Buddhist study. I usually used to be a little reluctant. Buddhist study in non-Buddhist country. I always emphasize it is better to keep one's own faith. Some my Christian friend, very, very sort of fond about Buddhist sort of training. So they, some seminar also used to take place, some Christian brothers, sisters, like that. So the practice of Maitri or Karuna, and patience, These are common. So we easily can sort of exchange.
Exchange.
Yeah. But then one time, one Christian monk, very nice monk, he asked me about shunyata. Then I told him, oh, this is not your business. This is our business. So like that. These are Buddhist concepts. Oh, I really, you see, little sort of concern. The concept of interdependency, non-absolute, may harm their faith towards God. God is absolute. So I do not want that. So I told him, oh, this is not your business, like that. So in religious field, it is better to keep one's own religion. And also, you see, I have one story. In 1959, a large number of Tibetans, you see, came to this country, escaped from Tibet, become refugee. So one Tibetan official who posted in border area, so he had the opportunity to bring entire his family through Nepal. So then eventually, husband, the official, lay official, passed away, and his wife remained, and I think 3 children, very young, remain. So really face a lot of difficulties. Then once she came to see me, I think 60, maybe 62, 63, and she told me whole story, how much of difficulties she faces. And then she mentioned the Catholic organization, some Catholic sort of missions came to help her, and materially some help, not only material sort of some help, but also, you see, take full care about the education for her 3 children. I think 3 children. So then she mentioned to me, for this life, now she already become Christian. But next life, she will be Buddhist. So this is clear sign of confusion, isn't it? Genuine Christian, no next life. Just wait in the coffin and till final judgment come. So she changed religion. Often you see create a lot of confusion. So better, we Buddhist, better to remain as a Buddhist. Christian, better remain Christian. Islam, Muslim, better remain Muslim. So that's my sort of view. So therefore, when you see some people, some academic sort of, people, is want to set up some Buddhist study, then sometimes I feel little hesitation. So therefore, now, if you see there's separate sort of the subject beside Buddhist religion, and eventually then as a part of academic subject, so then no problem in these universities. From Buddhist information, we can help them enrich about the modern science, about mind, about emotion. As I mentioned briefly, modern scientists now begin to feel importance of our emotion, peace of mind, calm mind, like that. So usually, I'm not serious, but usually I'm telling you, see, those scientists, my health quite good. Not something special food or tonic, but
Tonic.
because my mind comparatively quite calm. So inspired some sort of sad news from Tibet. But still, my mind quite calm. So I never felt some kind of negative feeling, anger, hatred towards those Chinese sort of hardliner. I really feel pity, a sense of concern. So that immense benefit to keep my mind calm. So almost no blood pressure, no stress, no sugar problem. That I think also, you see, my weight, not that because of the heavy. One very helpful is no dinner. Oh, you quite fat. So I think Buddha's advice is monk, no dinner. Also, you see, very, very helpful to keep our body fit. So now interest among the scientists. I think generally among the Western scientists, they're really well-educated scientists. Usually, when the subject of religion come, they usually remain distant. But now Buddhism, they look exceptional. So I think my effort last 30 years, I think brought that kind of sort of impression. Buddhism is scientific religion, not based on blind faith. Of course, I'm not criticizing other religious traditions. They also, you see, the immense sort of help to humanity. But scientific thinking, very difficult to prove God, creator. And also, meantime, difficult to disprove God, isn't it? But one obvious discussion, one my Indian friend, very religious-minded, without sort of better education, without much sort of knowledge. So he also feels there is God, creator. So he asked me one question. Last year, he asked me very sincerely, on this planet, there are so many suffering, so many problems. Why God created that? He asked me. Then, half joke, I told him, since God created hell, so there must be some people go to hell. Oh. Then he laughed like that. So these are contradictions. Consider God, the infinite love, infinite power, infinite wisdom, yet create a miserable world. Why? These are the non-theistic religious viewpoint. One Sanskrit text wrote by one scholar, Dharmakirti from Nalanda, great scholar. See, mainly the Parmana,
Epistemology.
epistemology,
No.
epistemology,
Epistemology.
Dignac, and Dharmakirti, and also the Shantarakshita. These are great Buddhist logicians. So in his text, the Dharmakirti's text, you see, I mentioned all these contradictions. So therefore, you see, the many scientists, traditionally Christian background, Judeo-Christian background, but very little faith. But these people, towards Buddhism, they are rather reluctant to say, I follow Buddhism, but intellectually, in their deep mind, they're very much close, they are thinking towards Buddhism. And also late, Einstein, greatest scientist, he also, you see, expressed in future, any religion which can go side by side with science, that's Buddhism, he mentioned. And then here, I also want to share you my main effort whenever I go, not propagating Buddhism, but I propagate human value, which whole Buddha Dharma, Buddha's teaching is human value. Not talking about mysterious things, but the actual sort of also the emotion, these things. So that is some scholar used to describe Buddhism as a kind of humanism, humanistic religion. So therefore, take some sort of idea from Buddhism, but the actual sort of purpose is simply promoting human sort of good quality, affection, honest, truthful, harmony, non-violence. So I usually, you see, also telling, in order to be happy individual, happy family, these inner values are very essential. So that usually I describe, without touching any religion. So I describe secular ethics. So perhaps I can tell you, I'm quite sort of popular in the West, not because I'm Buddhist, but because I'm fully committed to the promotion of these human value in order to be happy society, happy world ultimately. So you see, people loves me, agree, fully support about this idea, this effort. So that's about Western science, science East, like that. Thank you. Next question.